Deep within a treacherous cavern filled with lava and other dangers, Akira, a rank S explorer at level 8 150, raced across the battlefield. With all his stats at rank S, he headed towards dozens of monsters gathered ahead. He drew his sword and, with a single sweeping strike, cut down several of them simultaneously. Just then, he spotted a massive dragon appearing in the distance. "I need support," he shouted. A girl's voice answered, "Leave them to me." She launched a powerful water serpent attack at the opponents, causing even more destruction. "Thanks," Akira called out. "It was nothing," she replied. A system notification warned of an advanced monster approaching from the sky to his left. He quickly parried its attack and killed it. The same happened from the other sides, but Akira continued to cut down the monsters as fast as the notifications appeared. Suddenly, someone shouted that he was too slow, but another ally, a swordswoman, appeared to defend Akira from an attack. "I'll handle this one. You keep moving forward," she told him. He agreed and left the monster to her, continuing his advance. As he glanced over his shoulder, Akira was reminded of the very woman who had inspired him to become an explorer in the first place. The world he lived in was defined by the Labyrinth City. Ever since he was old enough to understand, the city was supported by adults known as explorers. These explorers faced fierce monsters and cunning traps while exploring dungeons, receiving requests directly from the Explorer Association. Subjugating monsters allowed them to collect and trade valuable items, create maps of the dungeons, and achieve fame and fortune. In this world, dedicated explorers could see their ranks and wealth soar. This brought Akira back to the beginning of his own story. Back then, he was just a beginner on the first floor of the dungeon. To increase an explorer's rank, one needed to make significant contributions and, above all, have high stats. At the time, Akira was level 100, but only a rank D explorer. His stats were also ranked D, and he relied on his unique skill, Search. This skill allowed him to scan a 30-meter radius, checking the geology, structural weaknesses, and magical energy content. He noticed some parts of the dungeon floor seemed abnormally fragile. With this skill, he thought he could handle things alone, disarming traps or repairing the ground on lower levels. For high-rank explorers, it was a simple task they didn't bother with. But even in a job where other explorers laughed at him, Akira believed he could be of help to someone. He remembered walking through the slums as a crying child. He didn't understand why a kind girl would help someone like him who could offer nothing in return. But the girl Amelia turned to him and said, "That's not true. If you ever want to help someone in return, you'll understand how colorful the view from such a kind action is." Amelia's words motivated him. If it weren't for her, he would never have come this far. He often wondered if she would even recognize him now. While reflecting on his past, a boy accompanied by two girls approached Akira with a mocking laugh. "Well, well," the boy sneered. "The first to reach level 100. You must really be some kind of chosen one." The girls whispered about him being the boy from the rumors. The boy Shingo agreed and told them to check using their appraisal skill. It revealed Akira was indeed level 100. Meanwhile, Shingo was only level 45, yet he was a rank B explorer. One of the girls laughed. "He really is level 100, but in the end he's a total weakling. Even someone of rank B like me could defeat him." Akira stayed quiet before retorting. "If your ability to make your allies underestimate others were a real skill, the damage you cause would have increased considerably." The provocation irritated Shingo, who used his gravity press skill to slam Akira's body against the ground. "Even though we were childhood friends," Shingo spat, "you're still a real failure who thinks he can give advice. Your stats and unique skills are trash. You're just a weak rank D fool who thinks he's important for having a higher level. Stop acting so familiar. It infuriates me." He was right. They now had real proof that being level 100 was just for show if you didn't have the power to back it up. Normally, when someone reached level 100, they were expected to be an advanced fighter using high-rank magic and skills. In his case, however, his growth had stopped the moment he hit the intermediate stage. While he leveled up easily compared to other explorers, his stats, attack, defense, and all the others had frozen ever since he reached level 30. Even now, Akira was stuck at level 100, and he didn't understand why or how to fix it. He wished he could stand side by side with Amelia, the woman he admired and who made him become an explorer. That was his only reason. Akira wondered what was the point of leveling up if it wouldn't make him stronger, even if there were individual differences. What he was going through was too extreme. Faced with this reality, Shingo could only laugh at his pathetic attempts. "You used to rely so much on that hope," Shingo mocked, "and now you're reduced to this." He wondered what the woman he admired, Amelia, would say if she saw him in such a sad and fragile state. But then a bitter thought surfaced she probably wouldn't even notice. He meant nothing to her, and for some reason that realization filled him with a surge of anger. While pinning Akira down, Shingo reached over and grabbed the bag he was carrying. "Give it back," Akira demanded. Shingo sneered, knowing exactly what was inside. "Is this it? The gift from the person you admire so much?" he taunted. "A lucky charm from someone who was worried about what a weakling you are." He noticed the charm had been carefully repaired after being torn once before. "You really value this, don't you?" Even so, Shingo tore it apart again, stuffed the shredded pieces into his mouth and spat them onto the ground. Since it was completely useless now, he ground the soiled remains under his heel for good measure. A wave of fury, hotter than any before, washed over Akira, but Shingo's gravity press skill kept him restrained. Shingo laughed. "You don't need to get so angry. You worked so hard because you wanted her to recognize you, but you're still completely pathetic. You haven't gotten even a little bit stronger since then. You're a huge embarrassment. Maybe it's time for you to give up and just die." Akira struggled, reaching a trembling hand toward Shingo. "Stop." Shingo scoffed at his attempt to resist. "You know, if a death occurs inside the dungeon, the Explorer Association investigates the cause. I can simply report that you got in the way trying to protect me from a monster. They wouldn't even bother searching for the body. That's just how things work in this world. As a memento, I, your dear childhood friend, will take your bag and this charm. I'll personally deliver them to Amelia. I wonder what kind of face she'll make when she finds out what happened to the person she helped." His voice dripped with malice. "While she's sad, I'll take the opportunity to hug and comfort her. I'll tell her I'm there for her so she doesn't need to cry over your death." "Stop it!" Akira roared. Shingo simply intensified the gravity press, slamming him hard against the ground again and again. "What do you think of my highest level magic? It's incredibly powerful, isn't it? It will turn you into nothing but scraps." Akira's body was racked with pain, bleeding heavily. The girls with Shingo grew worried as the ground began to crack beneath him. "He truly is fragile." Shingo laughed, finally deciding to leave. "Goodbye, Akira. I'll take good care of her for you." "Stop!" Akira yelled furiously. Shingo just waved goodbye without a hint of remorse. As Akira was left behind, cursing his own weakness, the ground finally gave way. He plummeted into the darkness below. At this rate, he thought in despair, Amelia really will end up by Shingo's side. "I want the power to defeat him. I want to become so much stronger." But there was nothing he could do. That's when the system activated. Analysis skill activated. Calculating final impact in 20 seconds. Evasion impossible. Probability of death 100%. Why now? Akira wondered. Why is my completely useless skill activating now? He had tried so hard to reduce the gap between himself and Amelia, and this skill specialized only in analysis was all he had to show for it. It was useless in combat. Others had always thrown his worthlessness in his face, and now he finally felt it himself. The system messages continued. Conditions met. Unique skill is evolving. Death count initiated. Stats resetting. Bonus experience Granted 1,000 XP. Level up. You are now level 101. When Akira woke up, he shot up with a startled gasp, then sighed when he realized he was alive. Despite falling from such a great height, he was alive. He looked up at the chasm he had fallen from, shocked. He should have died. What was going on? The memory of Shingo's betrayal fueled his fury. He was used to being mocked, but this had gone too far. Just then, Akira looked to his side and found his lucky charm somehow intact. A new urgency filled him. He had to find Emilia and Shingo before things got any worse. But in his current state, he knew he couldn't defeat him. Looking around, he realized he was in a completely different part of the dungeon. He couldn't afford to be pessimistic. First, he needed to figure out how to escape. The more he thought about it, the stranger his situation was. He felt no pain and there were no scars or injuries on his body. He checked his status. His eyes widened. His stats had actually doubled from before he fell. And his level, he was level 101. He never thought he could surpass level 100. Are these really my stats, he wondered. Am I cursed? Lost in thought, he didn't notice a monster lurking in the shadows until it lunged at him. On pure instinct, Akira dodged to the side, his sword already in his hand, and slashed it clean in two. As he looked more carefully, he realized it wasn't just an ordinary low-rank monster. His body felt strangely light, and his sword felt like a natural extension of his arm. For some reason, as he moved, he felt a sudden unfamiliar tingle of power coursing through him. He questioned the strange sensation, wondering if he had hurt himself somewhere. Suddenly, a sound like a vicious dog's roar echoed through the cavern, making him jump. What floor did I fall to? He wondered. The second floor has kobolds. The third has shadow wolves. But this was different. An explosion erupted behind him. He spun around to find a gigantic two-headed beast spitting fire. An Orthrus. Akira knew it was a monster dangerous enough to cause fatalities even among rank B adventurers. He was backed into a dead end. Shingo, he thought grimly. He really dropped me somewhere ridiculously dangerous. But there was one precious thing Akira had to protect. He could never forgive anyone who tried to hurt Emilia. For her sake, he would survive and get out of there. As the monster prepared to attack, Akira activated his skill. Body fortification. The system responded instantly, granting him resistances to fire, water, wind, light, and darkness. If these stats are real, he thought, a flicker of hope igniting within him. Maybe I can actually fight this time. He charged his opponent. For a fleeting moment, an image flashed through his mind, a girl with bat wings looking on with concern, almost like Emilia. The vision vanished as the Orthrus unleashed a torrent of flames, but his body fortification greatly reduced the damage. It's real, he realized. My stats really have doubled. If they hadn't, that fire would have burned me to a crisp. He activated his analysis skill. A timer began. This was his true strength. More than anyone else, Akira had spent his time as a weakling, simply observing monsters. He knew they had patterns, obvious weaknesses. After years of watching, he could predict an opponent's movements before they even made them. In the case of this monster, its rage made it predictable. The Orthrus charged. Akira prepared himself, swinging his sword with perfect timing. 36 seconds later, it was over. He sighed, looking at the massive beast. Stubborn monster, he muttered. The timing to attack and endure a dance of deadly precision had been surprisingly easy. His fortification skill was more useful than he'd ever imagined. Before it was a simple defense, but now, with his doubled stats, it made him a true powerhouse. Suddenly, the monster charged again with a ferocious roar, not yet dead. It nearly swallowed him whole, but Akira took advantage of the close distance. He thrust his sword straight up, piercing the monster's brain through the roof of its mouth. Target eliminated. EXP gained. Level up. If he had hesitated for even a second, he surely would have died. That was the terror of a monster like the Orthrus. Suddenly, the system seemed to glitch. New skill acquired insight. The skill's description read, allows the user to see the true nature of the target. Akira was baffled. This was the type of skill beginner explorers usually acquired. Why am I getting it now? He wondered aloud. Activating it, he analyzed the corpse. Shingo had said that Akira would be the only one to die, so he had likely already told Emilia what happened. Akira had to hurry. He could still feel that strange tingling of power from earlier, but he pushed the thought aside. His analysis yielded a chilling result. The Orthrus he'd fought was just a juvenile. That meant he must have fallen all the way to the 5th floor. If he kept moving downstream, he might find a safe area, but the path would be filled with monsters. As he moved, a strong, murderous intent flared up from behind him. Before he could react, the ground gave way beneath him, a trap. As he fell, his analysis skill went haywire, predicting the trajectory of incoming arrows. Then, new alerts flashed across his vision. Alert: high-level monster rapidly approaching. Activating Divine Oracle Protocol. What is happening? A huge amount of analytical information rushed into his head at once. The approaching beast was 120 meters away. Fire attribute level stats, weaknesses, all flooding his mind. Analysis complete. Additional 1/500,000 EXP required for next level. He turned just in time to hear a new terrifying growl from the darkness below. The growl came from another monster that appeared furiously behind him. It was an adult Orthrus, and it unleashed a powerful fire attack, forcing Akira to dive into a nearby pool of water. Evasion successful. Appraisal points gained. He surfaced, shocked. I get points just for dodging, he thought. This was the adult, just as he'd feared. The juvenile's power was nothing compared to this. Akira dodged again just in time to avoid being swallowed whole. The more attacks he avoided, the more points he accumulated, but he knew he couldn't keep this up. He would be killed. He checked his status. What even are appraisal points? He muttered. With his current stats, even after the last level up, he couldn't defeat this beast. He would die from exhaustion. 3 minutes have passed. Appraisal points are being doubled. Divine Sense activated. Skill proficiency and bonus points added. A flood of notifications stunned Akira. Combat experience reflected. Rank A assessment. You have gained 1/500,000 EXP. Level up, plus 50 levels. Akira couldn't understand it. His points had suddenly skyrocketed, but he hadn't even defeated the Orthrus yet. The experience gain seemed bugged, but he had no time to worry about it. Suddenly, a woman's laugh echoed inside his mind. This is what happens when you kill a mother's cub, the voice purred. She's furious. Who are you? Akira demanded, spinning around but saw no one. It's all your fault, but it couldn't be avoided. The voice continued, sounding strangely bored. I'm sleepy now, so do your best on your own. Who was this woman? How was she interfering with his mind? Though confused, Akira forced himself to focus. He had to deal with the rampaging Orthrus. The flames it launched were dangerously hot. Even with body fortification, a direct hit would melt him instantly. He needed a counter. Water magic, Aqua Serpent. A massive dragon made of water erupted from the magic circle he cast, far more powerful than he expected. It slammed into the Orthrus. Critical hit, appraisal points gained. He couldn't understand how his intermediate magic had become so strong, but he wasn't about to question it. He continued to blast the monster with water magic until one attack pierced straight through its chest. It was a critical blow. The monster's massive body crashed to the ground, but even as it lay dying, it was still breathing, its vitality incredible. Akira decided to end it, delivering a final decisive blow with his sword. Target annihilated. Final analysis complete. Rank A combat performance confirmed and optimized. You have gained 9,000 EXP. Level up, plus 300 levels. Advanced magic for all 4 attributes has been acquired. In that moment, everything clicked. Akira finally understood. The skill he once thought was useless. Analysis had evolved into divine analysis. It didn't just analyze objects, it analyzed everything. Time, enemy weaknesses, his own actions, even the most efficient methods for gaining experience. The absurd amount of EXP he was getting wasn't a bug. The system was calculating the level difference between him and his enemies, rewarding his tactical decisions, and granting him points based on everything he could analyze. It was a god-tier skill for growth. It wasn't luck that got him to level 100. It was this hidden potential. Thanks to this skill, he had surpassed his limits. He could become stronger. He could finally stop Shingo with his own 2 hands. He stood up, his resolve hardening. It still wasn't enough. Surviving down here required absurd power, and defeating Shingo was still a monumental task. Clutching the lucky charm Amelia had given him, he vowed to become stronger than ever before. Meanwhile, a mysterious girl with bat-like wings watched from the shadows, a faint smile on her face. Her little dog had been killed, but the boy who did it had taken its power for his own. He had truly awakened at last. Back in the city, Amelia was at home when a news report came on. "We have an announcement directly from the Explorer Association," the reporter said. "Earlier this morning, on the first floor of the dungeon, the Rank D explorer Akira has passed away." Amelia's coffee mug shattered on the floor. She stared at the screen, unable to believe what she was hearing. According to Shingo Yukimura, the report continued. Akira's body was severely damaged in a monster attack. Only his bag containing his personal belongings was recovered. No. Amelia thought, tears welling in her eyes. If only I had stopped him from becoming an explorer. She wiped her tears just as she heard a knock on her door. When she opened it, she saw Shingo. "Amelia," he said with a sad smile. "I never thought I'd be passing by, but I wanted to give you this." He held up Akira's familiar bag. Recognizing it immediately, she quickly unlatched the door to take it. A triumphant smile flashed across Shingo's face. Time to move things along, he thought. The moment she stepped forward, he activated his gravity press skill, pulling her into the house and slamming the door shut behind them. He laughed. "What's the matter?" Shingo laughed, pressing her to the floor with his skill. "Are you feeling all right?" Amelia grunted, struggling against the invisible force. "What are you doing?" she demanded, realizing she couldn't even muster the strength to fight back. He knelt beside her, feigning concern. "Are you okay?" When he reached for her, she slapped his hand away. He chuckled. "As expected from an explorer who's conquered the 12th floor, that willpower goes far beyond any ordinary woman." Gritting her teeth, she began to push herself up, fighting against the crushing pressure of his gravity magic. Shingo's smile widened. "Still shocked by Akira's death, are we?" The coldness in his tone confirmed her suspicion. Something was terribly wrong with him. He noted her resistance to his hypnotic influence, making things difficult, but he knew she was still an easy target now. "Why are you doing this?" Amelia asked, her voice trembling with anger. "You don't understand." He stomped on Akira's bag, his face twisting into a mask of rage. "I watched him all this time," he spat. "That kind, pathetic weakling. He was always ignoring me, always looking past me, getting happier and happier while I was left behind. I could never forgive him for that. I had to make him suffer, to make him fall into true despair. And now, he's gone for good." He laughed, a sound devoid of all warmth. "I just love enjoying other people's sadness." With tears in her eyes, Amelia looked at him with disgust. "You're a piece of trash. You've completely lost your mind." "Calling me trash is quite rude." Shingo said, his smile never faltering as he intensified the gravity slamming her back against the floor. "I'm perfectly normal. You, on the other hand, are a talented, beautiful Rank A explorer. So many people admire you. You shouldn't disappoint them with such vulgar language." Imagine how sad poor Akira would be in the afterlife if he saw you now." "Why do you have to go this far?" she whispered. "Why?" "Because of Akira." He sighed, tired of the conversation. "Let's just end this." He prepared to use the full force of his power. Meanwhile, deep in the dungeon, Akira was confronting a new monster. His analysis skill failed, returning only question marks. Then the mysterious woman's voice echoed in his mind again. "Humans are always in such a hurry," she mused, "always trying to expose everything about their opponents. The last human who tried that with me suffered for it, so I prepared in advance this time." He stared at the creature before him, a majestic water dragon. A monster that could speak the human language was unheard of, and his skills gave him no information. "I am simply trying to communicate with you," the dragon said, her voice the same one from his mind. "What is the point of staying quiet? A one-sided conversation helps no one. One must be strong, taciturn, but at the same time dignified." "Actually," Akira responded, "it feels like you're the one who never stops talking." "Are you mocking me?" she asked, her voice laced with irritation. He hesitated, which she took as agreement. "For a moment I thought I understood your position, but now I am irritated, a mere human. Do not think that because you defeated my dog you can get so full of yourself." Akira activated body fortification. He had to at least look strong. He still had a chance to win. If he could make good use of his divine analysis, in a high-level area like this, he could become powerful and fast. He couldn't hesitate. He had to get out of there and get back to Shingo. He prepared to attack, planning to create a blind spot with fire before striking with his sword. He invoked his magic, frantic dance of flames, a great phoenix of fire designed to cause chaos. The beast simply watched with interest as he gathered his power. Then, as the phoenix lunged, the dragon dodged and laughed. "This is my territory. I know it better than anyone. The power you gained from my dog was your payment for killing it, and now I will take control of your magic." The phoenix dissipated into nothing. Akira realized too late that his spell had been nullified. He had never heard of magic control. The dragon laughed. "A human wouldn't know about it. To cancel your magic, I used a special class of my own annihilation class." "Annihilation class?" Akira wondered aloud if she could read his thoughts. "That means your magic is the highest rank?" "Technically," she replied as if lecturing a student. "There are 2 ranks above advanced mythical class and the highest of all annihilation class. To cancel magic, as I did, requires a power of that magnitude." Akira realized that despite everything she was carefully teaching him, "Even with your current level, you are no threat to me," she stated. "If you wish to compete with me, you will need a power level of 4,000 or more just to be worthy of my attention." Akira was stunned. Level 4,000. The number was insane, completely beyond his comprehension. He quickly checked his own status, level 452, with all his stats at rank B. He realized that while his own power had increased enough to defeat an adult Orthrus, this new foe was on a completely different plane of existence. Just who is she? Akira wondered. He stopped observing, trying to think. He remembered the stories. The name Orochi was infamous. In recent years, the disaster-class dragon had been breaking through dungeon floors, threatening the cities themselves. The Explorer Association had even formed a special subjugation team, but even their most skilled members had failed. They'd discovered weaknesses, but Orochi's terrifying strength and firepower were overwhelming. If the creature before him was the Orochi, he stood no chance. He had to create an opening and escape. Trying to buy time, Akira asked, "Why are you talking to a beginner like me?" Her reply was simple. "Pure curiosity. I wonder how a human with so little strength managed to steal my power. That is the only reason I communicate with you." As she spoke, a swirling magic circle appeared beside her. A disembodied hand emerged, offering Akira an item. "Where did you get that?" he asked. The dragon brandished several of her massive tails, each adorned with trinkets and gear. "From the belongings of other humans I've encountered," she replied nonchalantly. From the way she spoke, he could tell that the arm was part of Orochi's true main body extending through the portal. "You've gone quiet again," Orochi noted. "Is it because you don't know what to say, or because you don't want to?" Level 4000. That's the power required to even stand against her, Akira thought. In this situation, he couldn't win. But he had one chance. Divine Analysis. He commanded mentally. The skill activated, targeting Orochi, desperately searching for a weakness, any strategy that was within his reach. The system returned an analysis. Target level analyzed. EXP required for next level 25,000. Optimal strategy found. He moved without thinking, a blur of motion. In a flash, he was on her, his sword slicing clean through the arm extending from the portal. Orochi screamed in pain and shock. Appraisal complete. Optimal strategy executed. Damage dealt to a disaster-ranked creature. You have gained 25,000 EXP. Level up. You are now level 2, 200. Akira stared at the notifications, his mind reeling. The numbers were absurd, so broken they were hard to believe. New skill acquired, ultra physical enhancement. You human, Orochi roared, truly furious now. You chose a surprise attack to wound me. My apologies, Akira said, his voice steady despite his racing heart. But I can't waste my time here with you. Something more important was on his mind. He had to stop Shingo. He knew an explorer of Amelia's caliber, a rank A, was powerful on her own. There was no way someone like Shingo could defeat her. But even so, he had a terrible feeling. He had to get to her as quickly as possible. Orochi recognized the look in his eyes. You seem to be deep in thought. Do you truly believe I would just sit and watch after you severed my arm? Her voice was glacial. I will kill you myself right here and now. Her massive tails whipped around, keeping him busy as her main body prepared to attack. She fired a blast of energy, and Akira barely dodged it. He realized then that it wasn't just Orochi's main body that was a threat. The colossal dragon form right in front of him radiated a terrifying pressure of its own. Even though his level had increased significantly, he wasn't sure he could defeat such an opponent. He performed another divine analysis, checking the situation. He activated body fortification and charged, but the dragon simply swatted him away, sending him flying. He crashed hard, the impact knocking his sword from his grasp. A sharp, debilitating pain shot through him, and he found he couldn't put any strength into his attacks. Things were only getting worse. Just then, the system offered a new, desperate strategy. Akira froze when he saw the result. It was insane, a suicidal gambit. It told him to use his new skill, ultra physical enhancement. Confused but out of time, he didn't hesitate. He activated the skill. His body burst into searing flames. He felt like he was losing control, burning from the inside out. Surprised by this sudden surge of power, Orochi faltered. Akira seized the moment, grabbing his sword and charging forward with all his might. With a final explosive roar, he sliced the monster's colossal body clean in half. Target eliminated. Divine analysis complete. Points awarded. Damage dealt to the enemy has been calculated. All achievements accounted for. Overall evaluation, rank AA. Combat experience has been reflected. You have gained 11,000 EXP. Level up, 600 levels. Meanwhile, Shingo made a call. I'm transporting her now. Send someone immediately. He glanced down at Amelia's unconscious form on the ground. Deep in the dungeon, Akira acquired 3 new abilities: mental mapping, weakness detection, and an improved insight. His head spun, an after effect of the ultra-physical enhancement. He coughed up blood and collapsed, immense pain overwhelming him. He checked his status and saw the cause. His body was in terrible condition, and the skill had pushed his system to unbelievable levels. He couldn't afford to use it like that again. Looking back, he saw a strange gas seeping from the dragon's corpse and moving away. It was heading towards Orochi's main body. He remembered her words he would need to be level 4,000 to win. He couldn't defeat her true form yet. First, he had to stop Shingo. He noticed something on the ground, the item Orochi had offered him through the portal. He picked it up and started running. Using mental mapping, he discovered something shocking. He wasn't on the 5th floor, but the 20th. It was the deepest any explorer had ever gone. To have fallen from the 1st floor all the way down here. Shingo's attack was more vicious than he'd imagined. His divine analysis confirmed he was now on the 18th floor, while his target Orochi's main body was on the 25th. Estimated contact 45 minutes. He needed to get stronger and fast. An alert warned of multiple high-level monsters ahead. "No time for this," he muttered, but he had no choice but to fight his way through, increasing his levels as quickly as possible. He used weakness detection, observing and refining his analytical senses to strike with precision. He defeated 3 Baphomets, completing another divine analysis, and gaining more levels, though the pain in his body worsened. Next, a 3-headed Cerberus appeared. He landed a perfect water magic attack, a critical hit that destroyed one of its heads, but it was still alive. His focus narrowed. Kill enemies, push forward. Perfect the divine analysis. You have gained 70,000 EXP. You have reached level 3,000. New skill acquired, double slash. A sword technique was rare, but the Baphomets were back, and this time they had reinforcements. His stamina was at its limit, but the thought of Amelia kept him going. Then he felt something even bigger approaching. A golem with terrifying red eyes attacked, pushing him back. Golems and Baphomets working together. The Baphomets unleashed a barrage of magic, and he was nearly hit, caught by the leg by a magical tether. Divine analysis rebooting, strategy being formulated. Trapped, he watched as the Baphomets gathered to attack. The calculations completed. He used double slash, cutting down the monsters that approached while fending off attacks from a distance. The pain was excruciating, but he kept fighting. As the golem slowly approached from behind, he knew he was in serious trouble. Meanwhile, Amelia awoke in a locked room. Shingo was there. "Finally awake," he laughed. "My charm only worked for a little while. I'm impressed your willpower resisted for so long." He grabbed her by the face. "I really don't like those eyes of yours. They're the eyes of someone who still believes that weakling Akira is alive." "He's not weak," she retorted. "And I never abandoned him. He became obsessed with getting stronger, risking his life. I told him to stop before he got hurt, but it was his choice to continue. He wouldn't have died so easily. I believe he's still alive somewhere." Akira faced the golem, unleashing his water magic and destroying its body. Another divine analysis completed. You have gained 9,000 EXP. He didn't want to die. He had to get back to Amelia. You have reached level 3,600. Reconstruction will now be executed. Reconstruction. His body felt heavy, as if it were about to break into pieces. When the pain subsided, he found himself surrounded by even more Baphomets, a barrier trapping him with them. He dodged and parried, using double slash to clash magic against magic, the points from his analysis continuing to accumulate. 30 minutes passed. He was exhausted, his body screaming in pain. Finally, the divine analysis completed. You have gained 8,000 EXP. You have reached level 3,800. He remembered Orochi's words. Only 200 levels to go. You look exhausted, a voice said. He turned to see Orochi's main body, now in a humanoid form, standing before him. She had crossed 5 floors in just a few minutes. All the monsters he had fought, he now realized, were under her command. He noticed her right arm, the one he had cut off, was fully restored. "It hurt a little," she said, noticing his gaze, "but having a piece of myself taken isn't a big deal. You inflicted a wound on me, and for that I would love to kill you. But first return what belongs to me." She was talking about the item he'd picked up. "If I return it, will you let me go?" he asked. "That's not how things work," she replied. "You're stronger, but not strong enough to defeat me." He was still 200 levels short. His body wouldn't last. It was now or never. Divine analysis restarting, optimizing action. He used double slash. Orochi defended, but the attack still left a light wound on her cheek. As she prepared to counterattack, a final surge of experience flooded him. "You have gained 13,000 EXP. You have reached level 4,000. Reconstruction initiated." A huge explosion of power erupted from him. Orochi stared, startled by the immense pressure he now radiated. Akira no longer felt pain. His perception was sharper than ever. "Attack!" Orochi commanded her monsters. Akira simply jumped, phasing through their attacks as if they were nothing. He was faster, stronger. He neutralized them all in an instant. Divine analysis complete. The information flooded his mind. Orochi, a disaster-class monster with 12 units in her troops, his new ability. It would allow him to land a decisive blow. Akira charged. Orochi was impressed. In the blink of an eye, his speed had increased even further. He killed all the monsters in his path with ease, his double slash ability evolving to its peak. With each strike, his attack power seemed to double, giving his enemies no chance to fight back. His system data updated, confirming he could now face Orochi in a one-on-one fight. Still, she saw openings. "Your back is wide open," she sneered, launching an attack. But Akira dodged the shot, merely grazing over his shoulder. Annoyed, she prepared a volley of chasing water bullets, but then she witnessed something impossible. Akira split into multiple versions of himself. Caught off guard by this new ability, Orochi was attacked from every direction at once. When it was over, she was defeated. Target successfully silenced. Akira stopped breathing heavily. He had really done it. He had finished them all. But looking at the devastation around him, he wondered what he was becoming. He could vaguely remember the fight, the feeling of the slashes, but the details were a blur. Orochi was a monster of an enormous rank, and it was unbearable to see her in that state. But at least the crisis was over. Suddenly a voice rose, laughing loudly. "I never thought I would be defeated so easily, not even in my dreams." The monster's body was glowing, and she was still speaking. "Is she immortal?" Akira wondered. "I underestimated you." Orochi laughed. "It's been a long time since someone turned the tables on me like this. It seems I'll have to finish you off with everyone together." Alert. Magical energy materialization is surpassing threat levels. Akira watched in horror as Orochi's body reassembled itself. Creatures emerged from her, and she released them in a blinding explosion of light. When he could see again, Orochi was surrounded by her 6 tails, each a powerful monster in its own right. "You must be so surprised you can't even scream," she said, caressing one of her monsters. "This is what happens when you force me to get serious." Her tails flew toward him. He dodged his divine analysis, updating with information on each of the 6 creatures. Their power was below the main body, but they were still strong enough to keep him constantly on the defensive. Even after evolving, he wasn't strong enough to handle all of them at once. He was bitten and thrown, his sword knocked from his grasp. Irritated and bleeding from his right shoulder, he realized that coordinated like this, they were impossible to counter. "What happened to your speed and power?" Orochi taunted. "Shall we finish this now?" She commanded her monsters to attack. He was in a worse situation than before. He needed to re-enter that zone, that state of pure power, but he was afraid it would only get him hurt more. The divine analysis calculated an optimized action. Power welled up from inside him, ready to explode. As the monsters charged, he dodged and met them head-on, his sword clashing against their teeth. He was being overwhelmed. His body screamed in pain, his head spun, and he was sent flying by a barrage of consecutive attacks. Damage reduction ability activated. Fatal attack narrowly avoided. "How much longer will you play dumb?" Orochi screamed, commanding her monsters to finish him. As he struggled to his feet, he noticed something odd. One of the monsters was just standing there licking the blood on its hand. Soon, all the monsters became curious, their threatening demeanor replaced by a strange, drunken stupor. Even Orochi didn't know what was happening. Then, Akira understood. The ultra-physical enhancement he'd used earlier had caused the alcohol level in his blood to skyrocket, inducing a berserker state. The monsters had gotten drunk from just a little of his blood. It was just like the legend of Yamata no Orochi and its love for sake. He smiled. Orochi screamed at her monsters to move, but there was nothing she could do. They were acting like idiots at the most important moment. When she turned, she saw Akira drawing blood from his own arm. "If you want this so much," he offered to the drunken beasts, "then come and get it." He activated his enhanced physical fortification. "Come on, you drunks, let's finish this." The monsters charged. The first one to attack him got another taste of his blood and immediately stopped moving, just as expected. But the strain on his own body caused him to flinch in pain. Another creature charged, and he barely dodged, climbing up its scales. "Come on," he called, "drink up." Soon all the monsters were in a drunken state. "Are you enjoying yourselves?" he asked. They were completely distracted. He couldn't waste this opportunity. Suddenly, Orochi stabbed him from behind. "You were overthinking it," she whispered, a triumphant smile on her face. But Akira turned his own smile grim. "You're quite predictable," he said, knowing she would be there. She had done the same thing before. He had read her movements and was waiting for the attack. Surprised, she questioned what he was doing. He grabbed her. "I know you want this too." He forced her to drink his blood. "Stop," she cried. But it was too late. She stumbled back, drunk, yet still threatening him. Akira felt his own consciousness fading. It was the perfect opportunity. He had to fight to the end. Orochi told her monsters to move, but they just sighed and lay down completely still. She questioned what they were doing. Meanwhile, Akira used his physical enhancement one last time, worried she knew that at this rate they would all die. But he didn't hesitate. He attacked, killing all the drunken monsters with his sword. Level up. You have reached level 6000. Meanwhile, Amelia was still locked in the room when the door opened. A girl appeared. "Aoi?" Amelia questioned, recognizing her. "It's been a long time," Aoi replied. "Shinji asked me to visit." "Did you fall for his charms too?" Amelia asked sharply. When Aoi questioned what she meant, Amelia raised her voice. "Are you being manipulated by him? Snap out of it." "Don't you dare badmouth Shinji," Aoi shot back. "He saved me. He's a good person. Akira is dead, and when I was in shock, Shinji comforted me." It was clear to Amelia that Aoi's mind was clouded by his hypnosis. "Akira completely ignored me," Aoi continued, her voice filled with jealousy. "I've always hated you both for that." Amelia was stunned. "But we all used to get along. I always saw you as my younger sister." Just then, Shinji appeared. "Sorry to interrupt such a serious conversation," he said with a smile. Aoi ran to him happily, and he held her by the face, his eyes cold and distant. "You two should get along," Shinji said to Aoi before turning to Amelia. "You should be kind to your lovely little sister just like me." "Why are you using your hypnosis on her?" Amelia yelled. "Why are you doing all these horrible things?" "It's all your fault," he replied calmly. "You were always too stubborn. My charm never worked on you." When she demanded to know what he was thinking, he just smiled. The Explorer Association contacted me. They've asked me to join the Orochi extermination team. I want you and Aoi on my team so you will cooperate. He held her possessively, and when Aoi complained that his touch tickled, Amelia felt sick. You will be part of my team whether you want to or not, Shinji stated, because I certainly won't leave Aoi alone. Akira's remaining vitality was only 5%. His status was dying. His death was 137 seconds away, yet he felt alive, the warmth of human skin pleasant against his own. He didn't realize his head was resting on Orochi's lap. 90 seconds until death. It's a shame, Orochi said softly. We are entities made of 8 parts. We cannot die unless all of us are defeated. You're a monster, he grumbled. It's rude to be called that, she replied, a hint of sadness in her voice. But you surprised us. We thought we were about to be defeated, so we will accept you. 30 seconds until death. He had no idea what she was talking about. She grew nervous, not wanting to repeat herself. 10 seconds until death. We're running out of time, Orochi said, pulling a dagger from a magic circle. What are you doing? He asked weakly. She just smiled. Greetings, Master. Then she stabbed him in the chest. Divine observation initiated. Synchronization between Akira and Orochi increasing. Connection established. New abilities acquired. Stats drastically increased. When Akira woke up, one of Orochi's monsters was by his side. He sat up with a start, but the creature just looked at him peacefully. He reached for his sword, but it was gone. Instead, his hand touched something soft. Orochi was sleeping beside him. He was startled again, not understanding how his enemy ended up next to him, and above all, he was naked. Not knowing what else to do, he got up to grab his things and leave, but one of the monsters cuddled against him, and he whispered for it to stop. The noise woke Orochi. Master, you're awake, she said happily. A little later, dressed in new clothes she had borrowed from other explorers, Akira demanded an explanation. He should be dead. We made a contract, Orochi explained, pouring them both a drink. You died, but our bodies synchronized just before it happened. I pierced your chest just as you remember. You are now in the same state as me. Did I turn into a monster? He asked. No, Master. You are merely connected to me. Close your eyes and command me to lend you my eyes. He did as she asked. What is your real name? I am Hachi, she replied. He closed his eyes and commanded her. Suddenly he was seeing himself from her perspective. It was weird, but he understood. He could now use Hachi's powers. In a conference room, the leader of the Orochi subjugation squad, Ishihara, gathered his team. Orochi's attacks had increased, and the damage to the cities was significant. They knew she had 6 forms, and one major weakness, a high concentration of alcohol. They planned to lure her to the 4th floor, get her drunk, and then finish her off. We have someone to handle the front line, Ishihara announced. Suddenly, Shinji appeared. Leave everything to me, he declared, flanked by his team of girls. Ishihara was surprised to see that even the famed Himari had joined him. Meanwhile, in the dungeon, Hachi was moving with Akira through a water sphere inside an underground river. Magic is so convenient, he mused. This was how she had reached him so quickly. Hachi laughed, explaining that it was easier when she could transform into a dragon. When Akira asked why she couldn't, now she hesitated, changing the subject. Why are we in such a hurry, Master Akira? He explained that they needed to save Amelia from Shinji. Is she your lover? Hachi asked. No, just someone I admire, he replied. She turned away, hiding a smile. Akira was more focused on the fact that in his current state, he could finally face Shinji. On the 4th floor, explorers had gathered with barrels of alcohol. Ishihara approached Amelia. Thank you for joining us, he said. He couldn't help but gush about her accomplishments, an A-rank explorer who debuted in high school. He then asked why she had joined Shinji's group, mentioning his bad reputation. Amelia hesitated, remembering Shinji's threats against Aoi. She couldn't abandon her. "I've just known Shinji for a while," she said, glancing at Aoi, who was still under his hypnotic charm. If only Akira were here, she thought. Shinji noticed her gaze and gave her an evil smile. She had to find an opening to break the hypnosis. Suddenly, someone shouted that Orochi had been detected. 15 humanoid forms were on their way. Akira noticed it too. "Stop," he commanded. Hachi stopped the sphere so abruptly he complained. "There are explorers nearby," he explained, "and they're targeting you." He showed her a news report on a recovered phone. It was about the subjugation group. "Enemies," Hachi realized. "What should we do?" "First, we check their movements," Akira said, activating his divine analysis. He was shocked by what he saw. Amelia and Shinji were walking together. It seemed they had told her he was dead. "She's supposed to believe I'm dead," Akira thought. He wondered what had happened between them while he was gone. Hachi, reading his thoughts, acknowledged it. After all, she knew it was Shingo who had put him through that terrible experience. "Your rival doesn't seem very popular," she mused, "and next to him is the girl you admire. This should be interesting." Meanwhile, Shinji told Amelia they were entrusted with the front line. "Don't embarrass Shinji with your careless actions," Aoi added with a light laugh. "That's rude." Shinji chuckled, though he didn't seem to mind. Amelia remained silent, looking for a chance to break his charm. The upcoming fight with Orochi might be her opportunity. Suddenly, a scream erupted from the side. A lookout shouted that a massive heat source had been detected. It wasn't just Orochi. A huge number of monsters were chasing a lone woman. "The girl's safety is our top priority," Ishihara ordered. "Help her, Shinji's team will handle Orochi." The explorers agreed. Shingo told his team to do their best and rushed toward the creatures. He then ordered the genius beauty Amelia to attack as well. Reluctantly, she complied. As the hunted woman fell, Amelia appeared, cutting down the monster pursuing her. "Are you okay?" she asked. "Yes, thank you," the woman replied. The other explorers rushed to help her, leaving the monsters to Amelia. The first step of Hachi's plan was a success. She now recognized the woman Akira admired. Not bad at all, she thought. As she passed by Shingo, he noted what a bombshell she was and planned to use his charm on her later. No class at all, Hachi grumbled mentally, eager for the next phase. Amelia noticed the monster she was fighting suddenly veered away, flying straight toward Shingo and the other girls. Scared Shingo turned to run, but a huge explosion blocked his path. He tried to use his gravity powers to seal its movements, but his skill was nullified. It was Hachi's doing, laughing as her destructive magic pressured him. "What are you doing?" Shingo yelled at his team. "Protect me." Under his hypnosis, they immediately agreed, but before they could move, Amelia stepped in front of him, taking the creature's attack head-on. She fell to the ground. Idiot, Hachi whispered, shocked. "Master will be angry about this." Aoi looked at the fallen Amelia, confused. "Why?" "Because you and Akira were my disciples," Amelia replied, wincing. "I have to protect you." Shinji's hypnosis tightened its grip on Aoi. "Senior," he ordered Amelia, "deal with Orochi, or Aoi will suffer the consequences." "Stop it!" Amelia shouted. Hachi sighed. It was time to hand things over. She passed the information to Akira and summoned another tail, drawing the explorer's attention. Suddenly, someone killed the new monster with a series of blinding slashes. Even Amelia froze when she saw him. "Akira?" she asked, stunned. He smiled back at her, then ran to her side as she collapsed. "I'm fine," she said, though she was confused. The atmosphere around him had changed. He had just defeated one of Orochi's tails in a single move. A lot has happened, he sighed. What are you doing here? I wanted to retrieve your belongings, she said, then looked toward Shingo. Akira's gaze followed hers. Shingo, now on his feet, stared back in shock. How are you still alive? Many things have happened since you killed me, Akira said calmly. Amelia turned surprised. I always thought something was suspicious. Shingo laughed. What are you trying to accuse me of? So you defeated one of Orochi's tails by pure luck. Don't go thinking you're powerful. In the distance, Hachi fumed at the disrespect to her master, but Akira spoke up, his aura flaring, terrifying the explorers around him. Even Shingo froze. Ayaka, the receptionist, couldn't believe her analysis level 6,000 with stats and abilities that couldn't even be measured. As Akira approached, Shingo panicked. Are you okay? Aoi asked. You literally wet yourself in fear. Furious Shingo slapped her across the face. Shut up! Amelia looked on worried, but Akira was the most surprised. He didn't even recognize Aoi. How sad, Shingo laughed. You reunite after all this time and you don't even recognize her. The girl on the ground remained silent. You've been using your hypnosis on her all this time, Akira stated. Check for yourself. The explorer laughed. I tried the same with your idol here. Akira looked at Amelia in surprise. I thought I could handle it, she admitted, but my strategy didn't work. I fell for his manipulations. Her will was too strong to control completely, Shingo explained. So instead, I took advantage of her younger sister. Aoi cried out in pain as his power intensified. Stop, Aoi begged them. It's for Shinji's own good. She then charged, attacking Akira with relentless fury. I'll kill you, she promised, her strength abnormal. It was all coming from her own suppressed rage amplified by the charm. Amelia prepared to face Shingo directly. A terrible idea, he warned. Akira tried to get Aoi to wake up, but she just screamed for him to shut up. You never even noticed me. Master seems pretty busy, Hachi commented before jumping in to help. She used a destruction magic called Extra Gift, her power hitting Aoi directly. Aoi froze, her consciousness returning. Are you back to normal? Akira asked. Relieved, he saw that the manipulation was broken. I need to tell you something important, Aoi said, grabbing her sword. Hachi approached. You can thank me later, master. Akira complained about her clinging to him, but she was satisfied. Who is this beautiful girl? Aoi asked. Before he could explain, she blurted out, If it were Amelia, I thought I would have to give up. Her own power then exploded. She had always admired Akira ever since he saved her back in school. He always took care of her at the dojo, but he was always looking at Amelia. When she heard he had died, she felt a great emptiness. But seeing him with Hachi... Why did it have to be someone like her? She attacked and Akira jumped in front of Hachi to defend her. I'll never forgive you, Aoi screamed. Shingo laughed. My enchantment always intensifies negative emotions. It becomes a true curse of the heart. This only enraged Akira further. Maybe it's time to be a little more violent, Shingo said, his power acting on Aoi again. Akira realized he would end up hurting her if he fought back. He wondered what to do until suddenly Amelia charged at Shingo, breaking the accessory he was using. Caught off guard, he jumped back. Stop it, he yelled. You're just a woman. He fired his enchantment ability again, this time with even more intensity. Aoi was immediately grabbed by this power, worrying the other two. Shinji laughed as he ordered Aoi, Give me everything. Become mine completely. He poisoned her with the hatred, envy, and sadness that had been building inside her, twisting her emotions until her power escaped her control. Under his hypnosis, she agreed to offer everything she had, and his power entered her body. He's the worst kind of person, Hachi commented, disgusted. He's using her negative emotions to make that power his own, slowly breaking her. Shinji felt the power flowing into him, pleased with himself. Emilia was the first to charge, but he countered with his gravity power, stopping her instantly. Both were A rank, but Shinji was superior in strength. Still, she had no intention of falling. She had to save Aoi. "She's in this state because of you, Emilia," Shinji taunted. "You should kneel and beg." Akira intervened, blocking the attack. "Stop this," he commanded. "You've insulted Emilia and are causing Aoi pain, taking advantage of her feelings for your own benefit. You're hurting the people I care about, and I'll never forgive you." "Playing the hero again, are we?" Shinji sneered. "You're a huge hypocrite. It makes me sick." His power pressed down on Akira, but even with his enhanced skill, it wasn't working. "What have you been doing?" Akira just stood there unaffected. Hachi watched with pride. "Just give up," she told Shingo mentally. "None of this will have any effect." Furious Shinji decided to attack Aoi directly. "Stop!" Emilia shouted. He intended to take something important from Akira right in front of him, but the protagonist was already gone, reappearing beside him to slash him with his sword. "Villain," Akira said simply. Shinji's scream echoed as he writhed in pain, staring at his wounded hand. The other explorers just watched. "Why?" Shinji demanded. "How? You're just level 100. I'm level 6,000 now," Akira replied, grabbing him by the collar and dropping him to the ground. "Hachi, heal him." She agreed, unable to refuse his request. Later, all the injured explorers, including the girls who had been under Shinji's control, were being healed. Aoi cried, apologizing to Emilia, who held her hand with a smile. "Rest now," she said gently. "Don't worry." Akira asked Emilia if she was okay. She agreed, a relieved smile on her face as she looked at him. It was the same smile he remembered from when he was younger, the smile of the person who had inspired him. Hachi laughed at their good mood. Suddenly, Ishihara appeared, thanking Akira for saving them from the Orochi attacks. "Of the 6 Orochi bodies, we defeated 3, he announced. "It's a big step for humanity, and we've captured Shinji." He asked for Akira's name again. When he introduced himself, everyone remembered him as the explorer who first reached level 100. They whispered among themselves, wondering how a weakling like him had become so powerful. Emilia interrupted, and Ishihara apologized for their rudeness. As a reward, he offered something from the subjugation team. Hachi's voice entered Akira's mind. "We want that special thing." He smiled, realizing she meant the barrels of alcohol. In the end, these monsters were all just drunks. Akira finally left the dungeon stretching. Hachi praised him for his hard work. Emilia had stayed behind to help with the cleanup. "She's the type of person who's always helping others," Akira said. "I want to become someone who can support her." The next day, Ayaka from the Explorer Association met them. In the city's business district, Hachi was engrossed in a mobile game, unable to pass a stage. "You just have to recharge or wait a day," Akira explained. She didn't understand the concept of a paid gacha, so he explained that she had to pay real money for a random chance at a powerful character. "If you don't spend a lot of money, you can't get stronger," she exclaimed, outraged. He mentioned that she could get money by becoming an explorer like him, but she was a little too conspicuous, even with a hood. After the previous battle, there were several witnesses to her true form. Rumors could be dangerous. "Are you worrying again?" Hachi asked, snapping him out of his thoughts. "I've decided to become an adventurer too." He tried to explain the complications, but she was confident his power could make everyone listen. As they headed to the association headquarters, Ayaka was waiting. Akira introduced Hachi as a friend. "Can't I call myself his servant?" she asked, making him mentally ask her to stop. On the elevator up, Ayaka explained that after she reported their achievements, the senior manager wanted to meet them. Amelia and Ishihara had also been called. As they ascended, Hachi warned Akira mentally, "The higher we go, the more I feel an immense power approaching. Be careful." They arrived on the 48th floor, and Ayaka led them to a door asking for permission to enter.